You're new to Overwatch, you enter the game, you see cool characters on screen, you go in the hero gallery, you see that some heroes are locked, and you just uninstall. If you don't do that and you want to continue playing Overwatch, you probably click on the play screen. Okay? On the play screen. And you're gonna see, I don't know how first player experience is, but I'm gonna go through each menu for a second. You have unranked, which is the equivalent of normal games, as in you don't get any rating from them. Mystery Heroes, Deathmatch, Open Queue, Roll Queue. I'm not gonna go in every specific game mode. I'm just telling you that at the highest level, like what do you want to watch from streamers usually, or competitive players, or Overwatch League, which is the professional league of Overwatch, or Contenders, which is kind of like the smaller league to the professional, like the B tier league, I would say. You will see them playing role queue. You're gonna see tank, you're gonna see damage, and you're gonna see support. These are the roles in the game right now. But you don't care about this. You don't care about this right now. Because number one thing that you have to learn and you have to know when you want to play is the following. In Overwatch, there are 4 types of maps. You have control, you have escort, you have hybrid, and you have push maps. The objective of control maps, you have 3 maps, 3 stages, and there's a point in the middle. It's also known as King of the Hill. You cap the point, and if you're the first team that the point that you get to 100% with the point being capped, then you win the round. So again, you have a point somewhere in the middle of the map. The maps are usually symmetrical, like they're mirrored, okay? So no team has an advantage if you're on that side or on that side. You fight, you stay there, you win, that's it. That's the game mode. First to 2 wins, like first to 2 rounds, and then you win. You gotta be at 100%. Now, escort. Escort is a type of map, also known as payload map, where attackers, because you have attackers and defenders. Attackers walk out of spawn, okay? They walk out of spawn, and very close to them, there should be a payload. There should be like a truck, a car, anything similar to that. You know, something that has wheels or that floats and that moves on a predetermined preset path that is usually marked on the ground with that blue, that you're gonna see like a blue line usually and see where the payload is gonna go. Now, on these maps, compared to control, you also have 3 checkpoints. You have checkpoint number 1, checkpoint number 2, and obviously checkpoint number 3. After you play, if you play as attackers, you have to push it until the end, or as far as you can probably push it. So if you're playing competitive and you push it 60 meters and then you swap sides and you only push it and the enemies push it only 50 meters, then you win until the time is over. So it's all about who can push it the furthest. But if you play quick play, you will either play as defenders or as attackers. If you're defending, you just have to make sure that they don't complete all 3 points. If you're attacking, you have to make sure that you complete all 3 points. This is usually one of the type of game modes that the community loves the most. Payload, for me at least, I associate it with Overwatch. Control is more like Quake oriented, like very brawly, you know, very weird, because everybody's having the 1v1s, everything's happening so fast because the map is symmetrical. Meanwhile, over here, you have some parts of the map that defenders have the advantage, some parts of the map that attackers have the advantage. You can play with multiple team compositions. It's nice. Moving on to hybrid. Hybrid is control plus escort, kind of. Hybrid is a type of map in which attackers have to unlock the payload. If on payload maps you walk out of spawn and you see the payload and you can push it from the beginning, on hybrid you can't do that. You have to cap the point, as in you're gonna see like a spinning thing. You have to stay on point while the enemies are not there to cap the point to unlock the payload. Once you unlock the payload has to push through 2 checkpoints, okay? Through 2 checkpoints. Is it 2? Yes, 2 checkpoints. So like first point is to cap the payload and then 2 more points to win. Same principle as on escort. You have to push it the furthest, or in competitive, or if you're playing quick play, if you're defending, you have to make sure that they don't push all the way until the end. Respectively, if you're attacking, you have to make sure that you push it all the way until the end. I said that I love escort and I associate it with Overwatch. For me, though, hybrid is my favorite game mode because it's a combination between 2 game modes, as I said earlier. And I feel like there are a lot of really cool strategies that you can come up with. Speaking of this, these are probably the maps that you're going to be hearing a lot of people say that they like the most. King's Row is a fan favorite map. King's Row was like the fan favorite map in Overwatch 1. Everybody loved playing King's Row. I don't know how it is in Overwatch 2 so far, but if you've played CSGO, it's kind of like the equivalent of DE Dust 2. That's how loved the map was. It was super good. Right now they changed like the color scheme and stuff. They made it daylight instead of night. So not a lot of people are liking it that much right now, but it's still a good map overall. Now Push is a new game mode that they introduced, in which at the beginning they have, so you're also symmetrical map, kind of like how Control is, right? One team, two team, okay? They're both mirrored. And there's a robot in the middle. Now with a robot, you have to push the robot up until the end or push it further than the enemy team. This is, I think, the easiest one to explain. There's no other thing to add to it. I like this game mode. It's good. But it might be also, you might have some issues with it because it's also very new, number one. Not a lot of people know how to play the mode properly, because I don't think anybody knows how to play it right now. And it's gonna take a year or two to probably come up with positions to stay from and stuff. So you might not to have more time with the map mode, with the game mode, because it's new. It's a new game mode in Overwatch 2. So this might change with how the game is played in like 1 or 2 years. Have to wait and see how players get the experience. But essentially, on Control and Push maps, expect to die a lot and expect to not have teams that are that organized. Meanwhile, on Escort and Hybrid, you will probably have better experiences as a new player, because the objective is more palpable. You know, you see the point, you unlock the point, you stay on payload, you push the payload, you defend the payload, you win. Now, a couple of things to know. On Control maps, to unlock the point, you're gonna hear people say that you need the point caps faster the more people are on it, right? Generally, you want to have 3 people to unlock it as fast as possible, okay? If you have 1, it unlocks slower than if you have 2, and if you have 3, it unlocks faster than if you have 1 or 2. So this point unlocks faster. So if, for example, you have 5 people on the point to unlock it, and you're the 5th one, then you can leave the point a little bit if you want to do something else, because you're not gonna cap the point faster. On Escort and Hybrid, same principle, maximum of 3. If you keep 3 on payload, you push the payload faster compared to if you keep only 1. So you don't have to stay all 5 on payload, or all 5 on point to cap it. On Push though, here's the twist. On Push, you only need to have 1 person on the robot to push it. If you have 2 or 3, it does not increase the speed at which the robot goes, okay? Now, another important thing. On Escort and Hybrid, the payload, if you're attacking, not defending, it heals you. So if your supports are dead and you don't know where the health packs are, or there's no way for you to grab more HP, stay around the payload. There's like a small radius around the payload that heals you. On Push though, the robot does not heal you. So if you're low HP and there's nowhere where you can get health from, then leave, go a little back to your team, and you should be fine. Let's start a game mode. This is on Control, so we have to unlock the point to show like a clear example, because I want to show you how they play. I hope that they regroup. I'm gonna go in the roles in a second. TLDR, you have 1 tank in role queue, you have 2 DPSs, you have 2 supports. I'll explain what the roles do and what each hero does after I show you 1 or 2 team fights, because I want to show you this. Because the tutorial in Overwatch, I feel like, is not that good and it has to be updated. So you start the game, you pick a hero. Let's say you pick this dude because you like that, I don't know, he has a cool gun, okay? Or you pick this dude. You like that he has a gun. Obviously, you move with your movement keys, and you're going to see that you have Shift, E, maybe some special abilities on your mouse, like this dude has a Helix rocket that does a lot of damage. And you can jump, you can crouch, you can move really fast, like AD, AD, AD. And you have your ultimate as well. Every hero has 2 abilities and an ultimate. If you press F1 on PC, you will see the abilities. So if you're confused as to what that hero does, just press F1 and you can read at the beginning. If you unpress F1, it will not do anything. As you can see, when your games are gonna start, everybody's gonna stay grouped. This is super important in Overwatch. I don't think that this is in the tutorial. You stay grouped. You stay grouped, you shoot the enemies, don't focus on doing anything else. Target prioritization will be explained a little bit later, but this is how your games will usually look like. What you have to focus on is just stay with your team, try to use your abilities however you feel like you want to use them. Like for example, okay, I do damage with my right click, he's coming at me, boom, shoot. Obviously you do more damage with headshots on characters that can let you do that. You just stay together. That's all you gotta do. Just stay together with your team. For example, if you press F1 and you see deploys a field that heals you and your allies, and you see that somebody's low HP, you go to that person, you put this on the ground, and now they should get healed. You press this, you see launch a volley of explosive rockets, you assume that the damage is a lot, you can stand still, you aim at somebody, you shoot it, and they die because it does like a lot of damage. Okay. Anyway, we continue shooting because I just want to show you how the point is capped. As you can see right now, look at this over here. I want you to pay attention to this. 5 players are on point. The blue represents your team, 4 represents the enemy team. So right now, 4 players on point, 5 versus 4. Anyway, just start shooting them. Let's cap it. Nobody's making progress. I just want to show you that right now, in order to win the fight, I'm not shooting the biggest target, which is usually the tank, because the tank is really hard to kill. Just shoot the DPSs and supports entire prioritization. Look how it unlocks really fast. If there would be 1 or 2 people here, it would unlock a lot slower. And now if this timer reaches 100, then you will win the first round. Now, this is how your games will look. After you cap the point, you probably just sit here and shoot. But the enemies are all coming from over there. So you don't necessarily have to stay here. You can go, you can shoot a little bit, that's it. You got scared, you go back to your team, you stay with your team. Nice and easy. Remember what I said earlier, you have 5 enemies that you can shoot, and decide who to shoot. Just try and shoot the squishies, as in the targets that are that have less HP. That's what you gotta do. Let's just shoot. You have your ultimate, press Q. I'll explain with every hero what they do in a second. Again, focus the squishies. Squishies, you're gonna hear this term a lot. It refers to 150, 200, or 250 HP targets. For example, Brig has 200 HP. She's considered a squishy, but Reaper is also kind of considered a squishy, although he has 250 HP because he's DPS/support. Anyway, all good. Now, I'm gonna show you how it is. See how hard it is to kill the tank? It's really hard to kill the tank. I'm gonna wait until the round finishes, and then I'm gonna swap the bots to aimbot bot mode. Because right now they're set to easy so they don't do damage. By the way, as you can see, they're staying on point, but now nobody's around you, so you can go maybe and shoot a little bit at them. If you're playing tank, if you're playing DPS, even support, so that when they enter the fight, you're making it hard for them to get to the objective. You don't give them space for free, right? This is what it means. So like you're making their life a living hell. Even though you're staying close together, when you're feeling the need to get back to your team, you're gonna get back to your team. You shoot them, you stay. Keep on spamming. You go back to your team because you're scared. Stay together. See a squishy, shoot the squishy. That's it. Let's just win the round. And something very important to show you in a second. Let's just use the ultimate. I press Q. I don't know what my ultimate does, but I'm just holding left click right now. Don't need to know what the ultimate does, and you should be fine. I really recommend playing against AI at the beginning to understand the basic rules. Timer is over. Overtime started because they were on point, and you win the first point. 1 more point out of the other 2 maps, and you win the game. But this was easy because the enemies were not shooting me. In Overwatch, if you die, you respawn. If you die, you have 10 seconds. You have to wait 10 seconds and then you respawn. If you see the overtime clicking there, it like going that bar on top in specific situations that we had at the end when the enemies were contesting the point, then you respawn a little bit later. The respawn timers increase. Now, you see the line, the blue line indicates where the payload is, And it also indicates if you're defending, it indicates what do you have to defend at the beginning of the round. So if you're confused, just follow the line on the ground and just sit there. Now, here's one thing. Obviously, this is how your games are going to look at the beginning. But remember what I told you earlier, that they're coming from that direction. Like, you can also see the red line. See where they're coming from. You can do some damage at the beginning. Now, I will probably die while showing this. The lines disappear when the game starts, but this should give you a good indication. If I stay here and shoot, they'll shoot me. Your goal is to do as much damage to them, like win the team fight, and try not to die. Because otherwise, you're putting your team at a deficit. So when they start shooting you, you try not to die. How do you not die? By using your abilities, by running to your team, by getting healed up, or by playing in cover. But you see that right now, I didn't do anything, and they just won. So this is why your experience with Overwatch might be a little bit bad at the beginning, and the game might be frustrating. You didn't die, you stayed with your team, and nothing was happening. TLDR, do as much as you can without dying. Just for the sake of the example. Over here. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take damage, I'm dead. I'm dead. And right now, they're pushing the payload. My team's going to go back, regroup. And when we're regrouped, we're gonna go again. This is why I like showing you the game with the bots. This is what usually should happen. And now you go with your team and you regroup. People's Overwatch experience usually is people are just going in and dying on payload one by one by one by one. But the way that the bots are made right now is like a better experience for new players. Because like right now the fight is starting 5 versus 5. Anyway, let's get a kill maybe. Actually, you know what? Let's just die. Nah, never mind. Let's win it first. Shoot the squishy. Careful, he has abilities. Standing still. Can't get a kill. Shoot him. Get a kill. I'm low HP. You see, I saw the red deck. The red shows from what direction you're taking damage from, in case you're confused. Gotta get out of that. Like, see how the red showed? Still do some damage. And now this is what usually happens. So fights are scuffed. 3 versus 3. We still shoot. We still want to take the fight. Let's just win it. This is like, if I would have started playing Overwatch, this is what would have helped me win a lot. But now you're gonna have some obviously troll moments in which you go in by yourself and 5 enemies. You're gonna try to get some kills, and nothing good is going to happen because you're just going to die. But you learn your limits. You're not staying with your team. You'll get punished for doing plays like these and not escaping. Team is probably gonna die on point, gonna regroup, and that's it. One thing I want to show you. If my team loses the fight already, because I've been like stalling for the past 5 minutes. I want my team to lose the team fight, please. You know, I'm not gonna be there. This is what I want to show you that you should not do. I'm still waiting. Come on, bots. You're 4. You are 4. If you're a new player. Why are the bots better than my ranked teammates? How are they winning this? What is happening? Dude, come on, they're 4 versus 5. In theory, the enemy team should have the advantage because they're +1. But if one person is shooting somebody, another one is shooting somebody else, another one is AFK, and other stuff like that, then it's gonna be difficult to actually win. Oh my god, my team is so good. They just don't. What is the enemy team doing? Why are they attacking? Dude, my scripted content. What is happening? I'm just waiting for them to finish. Okay, ultimate going in. He dead. 5 versus 3. Now they should lose really soon. Support should die. Oh, by the way, if you see like this, this here means that they're kind of like low. They're like half HP. If you see the blue, it means that they have a lot of HP. Okay, this is what I want to show you. This is why you might have bad Overwatch experiences. People like that. Don't do this. I have to go and I have to defend the payload. You're by yourself here. You go. You shoot. You cannot 1v5. You will die. And now, imagine if everybody does that. 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. And the bots are waiting for people to regroup. Because you want to start a fight 5 versus 5. We're all here. We go together. Obviously, it will not be this organized in your early games, but at least try and keep an eye out to see if your teammates are in your proximity. This is how the game should be played in theory. You hop in Overwatch, you go in the Heroes Gallery, you see a lot of heroes. You don't know who's the hero for you. Overwatch might be your first game ever, Overwatch might be your first FPS game ever, you might have came from other FPSs, you might have came from MOBA games, you might have came from mobile games. I just want to play some Overwatch and you do not know who to pick or what to do. TLDR, tanks are the ones that have the most HP. They have to walk first, as in they have to not be that scared to go in, make space for the team, if they can get kills, but that's about it. They go in first. So if you want to go in first, you have to play tank. If you're afraid of enemies shooting at you, then don't play tank. You have to go in, you have to take damage, you have to get focused by the enemies, and you have to walk in. If you play tank as you would play a sniper or an archer, then don't play tank. If you want to walk in, because you like playing with a lot of HP, do fairly decent damage, but also not go in and feed non-stop, like not 1 versus 5. Just know that you have to take just the right amount of damage before you have to back out, then tank is the role for you. In the majority of cases, this is what a tank does. Tanks are the first ones in, tanks usually contest the points, tanks usually are the front line, dude, okay? Now, damage. These are the ones that usually people say, okay, I'm gonna stop trolling. Damage heroes are usually the stars of the Overwatch lineup. Why? Because they get the kills. They are usually the flashier ones. They get the kills. They get the eliminations. You see them in the kill feed. They have the highest amount of damage. Their kits are meant to do a lot of damage while not having that much HP. Some of them are tankier than others, as in they have more HP than others. Some of them have a lot of damage long range, but a lot of damage close range, but low damage long range. Some of them have a sniper, some of them have guns, some of them have shurikens, a lot of things. But TLDR, the damage ones are the ones that usually are supposed to get kills. Supports. Supports also have a low amount of HP. Like damage and supports usually have the same amount of HP. Same amount of health, hit points. My opinion is that support is the coolest role because they're the hidden carries of the teams. Why? Because if your damage players do not get kills, supports are there to help out. If your tank players are getting low HP, supports are there to help out. They, contrary to popular belief, some supports have insane carry potential, but other supports are quite limited with their carry potential. So for example, a support like Zenyatta, who has a lot of damage, he would be really close to what a damage hero would do. Meanwhile, a support like Mercy cannot do things that damage or tank players do, with some exceptional scenarios when she's using her ultimate and pulls out the pistol. A support's primary job is to use the resources of their kit to help the tank and damage players stay alive and buff them so that they can get the kills while not dying. So supports primarily offer utility via healing. Yes, I said via healing. They heal the tank, they heal the DPS, damage or DPS. They heal the other support. They try not to die while doing so. They use their abilities for their team, or they use them aggressively on the enemy team if their kit allows them to do that. If the abilities that they have can be used in an offensive manner. Usually, tank gameplay will look like this at the beginning. You walk in, you shoot everything in sight, and if you're low HP, you're getting cover and wait for some heal. DPS gameplay will look like this at the beginning. You just look at the enemies and try to shoot them and kill them. That's it, without dying. Support gameplay will usually look like you just heal people around you, but also remember to use your abilities, and if your teammates are full HP, or they are not taking damage from anybody, don't be afraid to do some damage to the enemies as well and put pressure on them. Let's go through each hero one by one with the most basic explanation ever for everybody. Okay, D.Va. Again, if you press F1, you can see what they do. You can see what they do. Weapons and ultimate, abilities, passive. Okay, how D.Va is. D.Va's not like a press W type of tank. She usually shoots a little bit, goes for kills, helps her teammates, then backs out. That's usually what she does. She's not like, get behind me and we walk together. She's more like, okay, I'm here, I'm pressuring, bam 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 bam, I see somebody low, I'm pressuring, bam 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 bam, you need help in the back, I'm turning around and I'm helping you. Stuff like that. Why? Because her kid does the following. She shoots. Let me lower the volume a little bit so that you can hear me more clearly. She shoots. If you press E, she shoots with some rockets. These do a lot of damage. If you press Shift, you fly for 2 seconds. You can cancel your shift. You can cancel your flight if you press Shift again. If you hold right click, you eat damage. To explain this, you eat projectiles. These are bullets coming in. And if I hold this, you hear the sound, I eat damage. You can eat ultimates, you can eat projectiles, you can do stuff like that. Let me get my ultimate really fast. Usually at the beginning, D.Va players will probably play D.Va like this. Just try to shoot as much as you possibly can. Obviously, you see tanks do not do damage that much from far range, but still. And her D.Va ultimate is if you press Q, there's a big D.Va bomb that does a lot of damage, 1000 damage I think in her radius. Of course it has a range, and when you remake, you can get kills with it as well if you're close to them. So that's D.Va. Doomfist. Doomfist is super annoying and I would say really hard to play, but if you want to play Doomfist, he was a DPS in Overwatch 1. And right now in Overwatch 2, he became a tank because he's super mobile. He shoots with left click, bullets, obviously. He punches. This is the distance. If you press shift, you go like this. If you press shift higher up, you go higher up. If you press E, you block incoming damage. So you see a second tank. I didn't block anything. A second tank that has a way of tanking damage, you know? And also you see some mobility on tank too. Those sounds means that I block a little bit of damage. I think it's 90% of the damage incoming. And if you look up, you can go high up. Of course, there are a lot of techs that you can do with him. You can cancel the punch, you can block, you can melee, you can do a lot of things. And let me get my ultimate. Doomfist gameplay is usually really annoying for the enemy team, but if you're good with him, like look how far away you can punch them away. If you're good with him, you're gonna have a lot of fun. But he is a pretty hard tank to play, I would say. If you press your ultimate, you go up, you can move. If you press right click, you can see better. If you drop in the center, you do a ton of damage. I didn't drop in the center, so I don't do a ton of damage. And that's Doomfist. The issue with Doomfist compared with other tanks, he's a cool hero. But compared to other tanks, he's not a tank in a traditional manner for new players. Because Doomfist is also a tank that's not like, get behind me, team, let's walk. He's more of a complicated, more of a carry type of tank, I would say. Kind of like how D.Va is if you think about it with denying space. Okay, Junker Queen, newest addition to the tank role apart from Doomfist. Junker Queen shoots, throws a knife, you know the kit, throws a knife, pulls them back if it lands. If you do a melee, they bleed. If you use this, you get a bit of a speed boost and also some health. You see the green health over there, you give some to your allies. And if you use your E, you do a lot of damage. Because Junker Queen is tanky and she's like very brawly and stuff, then let me get a tracer too, let me get my ultimate. Then she is, and she, as you can see, she doesn't have mobility at all compared to like Doomfist and D.Va. You usually play her with people getting grouped up around you. Okay, so team, wait up. I'm just gonna shoot everything around me. I'm gonna use my ultimate, and go in. Just shoot people around you. That's how Jungle Queen is played. Her ultimate, if you press Q, you have some mobility. You can hit the enemies. They have a bleed effect on them. They can't get healed. This doesn't matter. What matters is you'll probably play Jungle Queen with everybody grouped up. Orisa, you shoot. I know, shocking. Everybody shoots. I'm not gonna go over every intricacy of the kit. Just the basic guide for new players. You shoot. You throw a spear at them. This blocks damage. Okay, kind of like how D.Va's defense matrix was. This makes you tankier. Shift makes you tankier. If you throw the spear at somebody at a wall, they get stunned. You can boop them away as well with your E. And the ultimate, she does a big wololo around her. And if the more it goes, the more damage it does. It also slows enemies around. And you do a lot of damage. Orisa got a huge rework in Overwatch 2 compared to Overwatch 1. So we still are trying to figure out how you should play her. As you can see, she has range compared to the other ones. Like, she does a lot of damage if you land in the head, obviously. And you gotta play her from, like... You can also go in with her considering how tanky she is. But she's a bit different compared to the other tanks that I said before. Reinhardt, the classical tank in Overwatch. Standard tank gameplay, I would say. If you left click, you don't shoot bullets, you swing your hammer, so they have to be close to you. You hold your shield. Usually allies will get close to you, so they walk around. If you hold left click and right click at the same time and you turn around, you see that the shield is locked, so you can actually see if your allies like behind you. But let's say you're around a corner. Instead of looking like this, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna shield. They're around me. Okay, we can go. You walk. You have 2 fire strikes that do damage. These go through enemies. Your shift is a pin, which if you connect, it does a lot of damage. Like if you hit somebody, it does a lot of damage if it connects to a wall. And in Overwatch 2, you can also cancel it by pressing shift again. And the Earth Shatter, he slams the ground. Reinhardt gameplay will usually look like this. You hold the shield so they don't die, because if you drop the shield, they die. If your allies like safe, you go in, bam, bam, you can shield again, same stuff. Basic stuff with Reinhardt. I think a lot of players, even if you're new to Overwatch, you know what Reinhardt does, and he's a very easy hero to understand. And Shatter, he slams the ground. In this radius, people are stunned, they're on the ground, they take some damage, they'll get back up pretty soon though. Super satisfying tank to play. Roadhog might actually be the best tank to try at the beginning for a good experience with Overwatch. I know, don't. Chat is muted, but don't tell me otherwise. Because compared to the other tanks, as you saw, they have ways of helping your team get in. They have ways of getting kills. They have mobility skills. They have ways of blocking damage. But what they don't have is they don't have healing. In case the supports are not healing them, then they can't do anything. In case their team is not doing any damage, then they will probably die while doing damage. Roadhog doesn't have that problem. Why? Because Roadhog has a lot of damage. So if this is, for example, a 200 HP target, if you go here, by the way, press H to change the hero, you can select whatever hero you want. Roadhog has a lot of damage, as you can see. Plus, he has pick potential. So his hook is quite long. You pull him in, you just shoot like this. Quick tip for Roadhog, when you hook somebody, walk in front a little bit. They do more damage to them because the pellets, as you can see, is like a shotgun, closer to them. Of course, this is not the classical combo, which is you walk, you hook, you walk in front, and you melee at the same time to get more damage in. But this is how he's played. In case you get low HP, he has his E. This thing heals you for a lot. So this is why I'm saying that Roadhog might be the best tank to try out in the beginning for Overwatch, for new Overwatch players. Because as you can see, I'm 684 HP. I'm still taking damage. I'm not getting any heal. I just heal myself up. He's also really hard to kill because he has 700 HP. Because to compensate for his lack of mobility, he's inherently tanky. His ultimate, they changed it. Instead of pushing people away and doing damage, you can now do multiple actions in it. So his ultimate, if you press Q, during 6 seconds you can push, you can hook, you can heal, and that's what you can do with it. Super good tank at the beginning. In case your DPSs don't do damage, in case your supports don't heal you, you'll have probably a fun time playing Roadhog, and you're gonna be a menace to kill. Let me go swap. Again, if you want to know the kits of the heroes, you press F1 to see it again. See what they do. Of course, tank roll passive reduces knockbacks received. Less ultimate generated by healing and damage received. This is an actually type of moment. You don't care about that at the beginning. Sigma. Sigma is a very strong tank, I would say, for experienced players, because he's very high multitasking. TLDR, he bounces his balls. Yes, his 2 balls. You can bounce the balls off walls. He has a rock that you can use to stun and boop them a little bit. He has a shield, 700 HP shield. That is, you can see if you press right click again, it comes back. It has a small cooldown, so you can press right click non-stop. You can deploy it wherever you want. He has also an ability denying ability with his shift, also known as suck. This is what you hear a lot from players. You hear Sigma no suck, so he can't hit any projectiles. And usually his gameplay would look like this. Your guy is like close to you. You shield a little bit. You shoot. Then the shield is about to break. So you start sucking. Then you shield again. And in between, you shoot. If somebody's low, you throw this. Boom. Okay, and his ultimate. You see that there's like a limit to how far away he can shoot these. His ultimate, if you press Q, anybody in this radius will be lifted up. And at the end, they'll get slammed. Very good ultimate to force them off the payload. Very good ultimate to force them off the payload. Sigma might seem like a complicated tank at the beginning. Don't let his kit make you think that he's a weak tank. He's ridiculously strong in professional play throughout time. He's really good. Really good. Winston also a standard tank, I would say, like Reinhardt is, with a pretty straightforward kit. He has a jump. He can jump pretty far away. He has a bubble, which if you do damage from here or from here to it, same amount of damage the bubble is gonna take. When this reaches 0, the bubble will go away. He does damage with his melee as well. Almost every character has a melee that does 30 damage. All do the same. Apart from Reinhardt, who he doesn't have a melee, he has his swing, and that does more damage, obviously. And if you all right click, he has a zap. This is a new addition of Overwatch 2, so actually is good. He can do something long range instead of just standing still. Winston gameplay will usually look like this. You see the enemies, you dive, you bubble, you shoot, you're getting low HP, you throw some melees, you jump back to your team. You wait, you get healed, you go in. That's usually how Winston gameplay looks at the beginning, I would say. Of course, you can be more aggressive if you're not about to die. You can zap multiple people in front of you. So just so you know that as well. So like for example, you can bam bam bam. So in case like you see a group of a lot of enemies staying together, then you can just do this and zap them all. You can use your ultimate, which makes you very angry, kind of like Hulk, and you boop them away while doing damage. Make sure that at the end of the ult, you also get increased HP. Just make sure that with Winston you go in, you do damage, you jump out. Because even though he has 550 HP, if he goes in alone against 5 enemies, you'll probably get melted kind of fast. Ball is super annoying to play against. I would say you can have a lot of fun with Ball. You attach with a grapple, you have a lot of mobility. I didn't do that right. If you stay not in ball form, you can shoot. If you stay in ball form, you cannot shoot. If you shoot, you go out of ball form. You have a grappling hook that you can attach and like spin around and stuff. If you stay connected with it for too long, then the hook breaks. So be careful. The indicator shows you, this indicator shows you if you press E how much shield you get. So right now if you press E, you'll get shield. And if you see like 2 here, you'll get more shield. From what I understand, I might be Pepega with ball with this. And most importantly, you slam, you do damage. You can also boop people off the map. And keep in mind that with this mobility and with this amount of shields, he's very annoying. A good ball player is meant to disrupt the enemies. So usually his gameplay will look like people are grouped up. You go in, you slam. You see them, attach. I see them, I slam. I go out of ball form. Let's say I want to use my shields as well. I'm getting low HP. I'm going back. I'm waiting. I'm going in. See, like not just stay in the middle of the team fight. His ultimate, mines, creates a minefield that stay up for 100 years on the ground, that do a lot of damage. 2 mines will usually kill the majority of heroes, and the mines poop you a little bit as well. So if you want to be an annoying piece of wonderful human being, and you want to play ball and be annoying to new players, then you're gonna make the enemies have a very bad time. Plus, with his insane mobility, you can contest points very easy, you can escape very easy. He's a very fun tank to play. Zarya has 2 bubbles. If you shoot the bubbles, she's more utility oriented while also having a lot of damage. If you shoot the bubbles, you get some charge. The more charge you get, caps at 100, the more damage you do. I'm not gonna get a lot of charge, so just for the sake of the example, just shooting a little bit, kind of get my ultimate. And the more charge she gets, she also does damage with this. So if you're good at anticipating how much damage your team is about to get, then maybe Zarya is the hero for you. Wait, he's dead actually. He's actually bamboozled. Plus, of course, you can use the bubble for yourself as well. She does a ton of damage. Alright, let me get my HP. With the DPSs, I'm gonna do it a little bit faster. I think that explaining tank, especially to new players, is something that will help them have a really good experience. With the DPSs, it's more like just kill them. Forehead. Her ultimate, if you press Q, you pull them together and they do a little bit of damage. Also, a cool trick with Zarya, if you right click the ground and press space, if you don't press space, you jump just a little bit, but if you press space, you can jump into high spots. So she has a bit of mobility, so when you walk out of spawn, you might want to do stuff like this to get it faster, kind of like bunny hopping. She doesn't have self-healing. What she does have though is she has shields, which means shields in Overwatch regenerate. So right now the blue thing, if I don't take damage for a while, it will regenerate. But this will take a while. I think they'll regenerate. Wait, no, 2 seconds have not passed. If you take a lot of damage, let's see, I'm like this. Shields will regenerate. You hear that sound? But HP does not regenerate. So just so you know, you have to get healed. It's not like a Roadhog that can just heal himself up. So that's it with tanks. You have some tanks that go in, some tanks that do a lot of damage, some tanks that use shields, some tanks that have insanely high mobility, some tanks that have abilities tailored towards their team popping off, some tanks with carry potential. And as a tank player, you have to go in and not die, you have to make space. If you want to play with heroes that are more archer oriented, you know, like you're an archer, you stay in the back and they don't come for you, then playing with heroes like Widowmaker, like Hanzo, like Ashe, even like Pharah. Where's Pharah? Might be the picks for you. Even Junkrat to a certain extent. Like you stay in the back in a safe distance and you shoot instead of getting up close to the enemies. The second classification, I would say, you have damage dealers that are hit scan and damage dealers that are projectile. To explain, if I put my crosshair here and I shoot, the bullet goes instantly. This is hit scan. But if I put my crosshair here with Hanzo and I shoot, there's a small delay. If I pick Pharah and I shoot, delay, because the projectile has to travel. If I pick Widowmaker and I shoot, instant. Usually you have in Overwatch players that specialize in hit scan and players that specialize in projectile. So depending on this also might be a style. You also might want to take this into consideration when deciding who you want to play. Personally, I prefer playing hit scan. This is why you don't see me play a lot of Zenyatta. But you see me play a lot of Ana, and you see me doing this a lot because this is hit scan. Okay, Ash. Shoots. Right click, you shoot scoped in. This is a dynamite that explodes. And if you shoot it, it explodes faster. This is a coach gun, which boops you back. Can also boop the enemies. At long range, she does less damage. At close range, she does close to medium. She does a little bit more because there's a thing called damage fall off in Overwatch. Damage range fall off, which usually kicks in at 20 meters. So from super long range, he was low. You won't do that much damage. You're gonna see on maps like Gibraltar or Junker Queen or Junkertown what I mean with that. And her ultimate, she sends Bobby. And she doesn't do anything. If you're around Bobby and you're an enemy, he has aimbot. He doesn't do headshots. He just shoots non-stop until he's away. And you can see that you can boop. Bastion. Shoots. Throws a nade. Goes in this. Can move. Shoots faster. I know, DPSs are like shoots. They shoot. You see, they so far they don't have like denying enemy abilities. Give me a second. An ultimate goes in ult form. Move like same as Doomfist. Click, click, click. Can also zoom out and it does damage. Cassidy has a gun. He shoots. He hits like a truck. He does a lot of damage. His E is a grenade, which if you attach it, it does a lot of damage. Damage dealers do damage, dude. That's it. And he has a roll, his shift, that if you press A, for example, I didn't press A, I press shift. It goes into the direction that you're inputting your key. So right now, I'm such a pepega. Is that how it works? Is that how it works? That's how it works, yeah? Yeah, I never pressed it like A. So right now I'm pressing D, I press shift, it gets in that direction. Usually, players will just shift, careful about shifting forward. Use it as a way to avoid getting shot, or use it as a way to reload. Right now I have 2 bullets. If I roll, I have 6 again. His ultimate is High Noon. You can move in it, and when you see the skulls locking, you can do damage. You can also get some kills with it pretty nicely when you shoot. You can cancel it by right-clicking. And his right-click is Fan the Hammer, which is not good at long range, as you can see. It's very hard to hit, like right now I'm aiming down. Let me let it go by itself without controlling it. This is without controlling it. It goes up. By controlling it, you aim a little bit down. But still very unreliable. It's usually used close range. Specifically, in Overwatch 2, I would say when ball's close to you, use it on ball. You do a bit of damage, rather than just shooting like this. Alright. Echo, complicated hero, I would say. High difficulty. If you press shift, you fly up. If you hold space, you glide. If you don't hold space, you just go down like a brick. You shoot some things with your left click. As you can see, they are projectile. Right click, if they attach, they do a lot of damage. If they don't attach and they explode nearby, they still do a lot of damage. But if you throw them, let's say like this, they won't do damage because they have like a small radius. If the target is less than half HP and you use the laser, you zap them really fast. If they're full HP, you don't zap them that much. And what's the cool part about her kit is that you can duplicate enemies, not allies. So if you press Q, you have faster rule generation, and you can get a lot of ultimates while doing this.
Thank you for testing the ledge for me.
Wow, that was toxic. Genji, super cool. Shoots shurikens like this, or like this. E deflects incoming damage, kind of like how Orisa's spin is, but it doesn't. Wait 1 second, chat. Okay, her E Her E. Yeah, Orisa's E doesn't deflect the damage back. Meanwhile, Genji's E deflects the damage back. So if he shoots you, wait a second, you can actually do damage back to them. And you can get headshots with it as well. You can deflect nade, you can deflect Zaga's ultimate, you can deflect a lot of things. His shift is a dash that does damage. Of course, he can melee, so he dashes like this. And you see that it has a cooldown, so you can't use it again. But if you get an elimination, look at the cooldown. If you get an elimination, you can use it again. So if, let's say, for example, he's low HP, you can dash, dash, dash. So it's very important to know their HP. And of course, what you usually are seeing from a lot of players is you see dash, dash, dash. I missed. You gotta do it like really fast to go through multiple people at the same time. His ultimate, same thing with the dashes. It resets upon elimination, not upon kills. Not upon last hits. So right now, if I use this, my shift is available again. Boom, 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 boom. I have it again. So it's very important to actually eliminate the targets that Genji is going to blade, so you can have your blade again. What the hell? Okay. Ah, and most importantly, another thing, you can climb. You can wall climb. It has a limit, and you can double jump. If you press space, you can jump again. So he's a hyper mobile character. The key with Genji is not dashing into 5 people when they're full HP, but when they're low HP, let's say for example, these are 5 people, you dash in, you get some damage, you can get out. Or you go for a 1 versus 1, he's more of an assassin, I would say. Hanzo is literally an archer, you stay long range, you shoot. He can also wall climb, but instead of double jumping, he has a leap. If you use your E, you shoot faster. If you use your shift, you have a Sonic, which shows the enemies in a certain radius through walls, similar to Bloodhound's tactical in Apex Legends, I would say. So it's a very good tool to scout. They have somebody inside. Another thing with his E, it bounces off walls now. A bit hard to hit, but maybe you want to spam an angle where you can't see them. Maybe you want to spam like this and hit them. You can try that out. And his ultimate to dragons, they do a lot of damage as well. Junkrat, incredibly annoying to play against. So if you want to go in somebody's day, just play Junkrat. They do a lot. His explosives do a lot of damage. Pretty hard to aim. There's a saying in the Overwatch community that Junkrat players usually don't aim at all. You just gotta get lucky with him. But I would say that Junkrat players are actually geniuses, and they have 5 PhDs in mathematics because they know how to calculate the trajectory of his explosives. So they do a lot of damage. His E is a trap, which if you walk over it, you're trapped. You can't move. His shift, you can use it for yourself to get to high ground and stuff, or reposition, or you can use it on the enemies. As a very basic combo at the beginning, if the doors are opening and you're defending, you can place a trap, let's say over here, and I don't know, let's say a mine over here. You can just spam the door where they're getting out, and then right click when they walk in a trap to get a quick, easy kill because it does 200 damage. Thank you, love. More than 200 damage, it does a lot. His ultimate is a Riptire that goes up. Up and up and up. Just goes around. If you want to stop it, just look at a wall. Upon explosion, people that are in the radius, they should die. It does a lot of damage. Can't kill tanks that easily, though. Yeah, that's about Junkrat in a nutshell. Mei, you just do damage and slow them. You don't freeze them anymore, as in Overwatch 1. You freeze them with your ultimate. With your right click, you see that they travel a little bit slow, kind of like a projectile, but they do a ton of damage. It doesn't have damage fall off. So if you can land a long range headshot on a tracer across the map, you can do that. And her E is a wall that is destroyable, that you can walk on. The enemies can walk on, so maybe you can get creative with her. Her ultimate does damage, slows people around, and if they stay long enough in it, they get frozen. So they can't move, they can't do anything. And that's Mei. Mei usually was picked in Overwatch 1 as a hero to annoy tanks, just putting that out there. Because they couldn't play the game because you were just like slowing them non-stop, putting the wall, stunning them. So she's very annoying to play against. Farah stays in the sky, literally has a rocket launcher and flies. I think we're all used to these types of characters from other games. Literally has a rocket launcher and shoots. You have a fuel meter. Okay, they can just like tap from time to time. Proper fuel usage is a skill that you gotta learn. You can also shoot yourself to go up in the sky a little bit. And your E poops them away if you land it. As being said, you'll probably play her from kind of far away and spamming. And you gotta understand where the enemies are going to be, predict where they're going to be to get them kills. And her ultimate, hands off, you just look around and it shoots a lot. Reaper up close, from distance doesn't do anything. From up close he does a lot. If you aim at the head specifically, it absolutely melts them. His E is a teleport, so you can TP behind them. And his shift is a fade away, you become a ghost, kind of. Now, when you TP in, here's a cool thing that you can do in your games if you're just like a new player. Give me a second. Oh, Mei shift, my bad. I forgot about Mei shift. My bad. Mei shift. If you press shift, you're invulnerable. And you regen HP. So let me take some damage. Give me some damage. Damage. So she has like a way of healing herself. So right now if you shift, you regen your HP a little bit. Boom. A lot of damage with the headshots. Reaper, if you're low HP, he has a way of healing himself. So I take damage. Now if I do damage, I get HP back. So that's a good thing to know. And a cool trick to do with Reaper is a lot of players at the beginning will just walk to people and shoot them, which is how you should play Reaper. But usually you can do this. You can just TP behind the enemies, get close to somebody, shoot, and if you're afraid that you're gonna die, press shift and go back to your team. You'll see that you're gonna win a ton of games with Reaper like this. Again, he's super used long range, so if your fights are looking at shooting people that are far away, do not play Reaper, or play Reaper, but get creative to like get close to them. Let me get my ultimate to show you. His ult just does damage around him, he spins. Usually you'll probably just TP in front of them and press your ultimate. Nice and easy. Fun hero to play at the beginning, I would say. Very noob friendly. Sojourn, more of a complicated hero, just added to Overwatch 2. She has a slide. At the end you can jump. She has a slow that acts kind of like as a mini graviton surge, like Zaga's ultimate, but it's not like a graviton surge because it doesn't suck people in, it just slows people in that radius. If you shoot, you see a meter. If this gets to 100, you do a ton of damage. If this doesn't get to 100, you don't do that much. Now you can charge it up of shields, of turrets, of enemies, and then after a while, it's gonna go away and you won't have your charge. Takes some time though. How much is it? There you go, it decreases. I think it's 5 seconds. And her ultimate, TLDR, you just shoot faster. You just recharge your meter faster. Very good. How you usually would play Sojourn is you just shoot in a general direction at head level because you charge it more. And then you try to play her like a sniper and try to snipe somebody that's low HP in the back. So, a squishy. You don't use your left click on tanks. So you shoot, you slide, you get in good positions, you shoot, boom, you miss. That's the literally Sojourn gameplay. Boom, you miss. Boom, headshot. And her ultimate just charges this really fast, so you can shoot multiple of them, but please remember that you can also use your abilities when in her ultimate, so you can shoot multiple times. So again, a mobility character played from good long range, good up close, good medium range with a lot of mobility. Soldier, I would say probably the best DPS, the best damage hero to try at the beginning. If you press shift, you run. Literally, you just sprint. You can heal. You can shoot. You reload. And you throw rockets at them. His ultimate, if you use it, you see how low amount of volt charge I'm getting. Give me a second. Of course, you should go for headshots. Your ultimate, if you use it, and you press left click, you just literally aimbot at them. You don't even need to aim at them. It just goes to the target that you see with those 4 arrows. Other than that, usually with Soldier, because he has a sprint in team fights, instead of like, these are the enemy, these are your allies, these are the enemies, instead of staying here and shooting them in front, try to go a little bit to the side so you can shoot them from different angles. So instead of the enemy shooting just in that direction, they have to look in that direction as well, like make their life a little bit harder. And in case they want to do damage to you, you can always get in cover and heal yourself, or you can always get back to your team with ease. Sombra, complicated here I would say, but super fun to play. This is a translocator you throw on the ground. If you use it again, you go back. It stays up. I think it stays up indefinitely right now, actually. Yeah. So right now I can go wherever I want, and I'm gonna press E and I go back. And if I want to break it, I can break it, and then it goes on a cooldown. My shift, I'm invisible non-stop. But if I get close to the enemies, I can't do anything. I can just like TP back if I have my E active. So right now, I can TP back, or I can destroy my TP. If I'm getting close to the enemies, then an indicator will appear that detected. It will appear on the screen. It's going to appear on your screen that you're detected. So you don't want to get that close. Usually what you want to do with Sombra is just find somebody alone. You look at that detected screen. Hack them so you do more damage to them and shoot them. The hack, they cannot use their abilities briefly. If you hack enemies, they can be seen through walls. You can also help hack. Let me show you through walls. So you hack. You can see them through walls. You do more damage to them. You have to unstealth to do damage to them though. And you can also hack help back so they spawn faster. So if you want to play an annoying hero that is fun to play, a bit complicated. It's not like you have a gun and shoot, a more 5-head hero I would say. Then Sombra is the hero for you. And her EMP hacks people around her and does a lot of damage as well. And by the way, you can see that that target is low HP through walls, so you know that you can go and chase them. EMP hacks them and does, I think, 40% of the max HP right now. 40% more damage to health. Wait. Where's the EMP? That deals damage equal to 40% of all nearby enemies' health, hacking them and destroying barriers around you. Throughout, the reason why I don't know that much about Sombra right now is because throughout time I feel like Sombra has been changed, probably one of the most changed characters in Overwatch, because her kit, as you can probably tell, is very troublesome with all the hacking, all the damage, all the stealth, all the mobility, all the range of the TP, the EMP on everybody. So she suffered a lot of changes and stuff. So yeah, this is Sombra. Now Symmetra. Symmetra was initially a support, providing kind of a pretty nice utility for her team, but right now she's a DPS. If you hold left click, the beam charges. It has 3 levels. As you can see right now, I'm just firing my laser at them and I'm doing a lot of damage. If you wait for a bit, it doesn't go away, but if you wait for a little bit longer, it will reset. How longer is it? There you go. And now it gonna start charging again. So wait, let me wait a lot. Boom. And then it goes again. And the levels start again. You can hear like the intensity. The targets slow and do damage. Also known as the car wash, because you're washing the car with them. And the TP can just TP to that position. You can take it back. Also press E to break the TP. Usually used from spawn to TP closer to the point and stuff. Your targets stay up until replaced or destroyed by the enemies. And your ultimate just creates a huge wall that obviously you can walk past, but the enemy's bullets and the majority of abilities, healing as well, will not go through. So in case you have one enemy here and 4 here and you want to kill this enemy because you don't want them to get a lot of healing, then you can just use the wall to deny that. Right click, just shoot some balls really fast. They changed the way this works in Overwatch 2, but just spam. Her gameplay will usually look like this. You just put targets in a position where you think they're gonna come from, because as you can see it has some range, so if they go through here they have to look up to destroy the targets. You spam the general position where they come from, and if the enemies are close, you just hold left click and try to do as much damage to them as possible. Almost done with DPSs. Torbjorn, everybody's favorite DPS. You press E, you become tanky. You shoot faster. You build, you repair your turret faster. You swing your hammer faster. His left click, you shoot. It has a small arch, as you can see. His right click, you shoot kind of like a shotgun, like how Reaper would shoot. So long range, you spam with this. Close range, you use your right click. And you pull the hammer to either repair the HP on your turret in case it gets damaged, or to do damage to the enemies if you want to ultimately BM them. Of course, if you're on your E, you do damage faster. Turret stays up until destroyed or replaced. If you press F, you remove your turret and it has a cooldown. And the ultimate, which everybody says his come, you press it, you have a certain timer that you can use it. Here the charge, here the timer to use all of it. And obviously if you walk in it, a lot of damage goes in. You don't want to use it in the same spot. You want to spread it out, make a mess, because it does the same amount of damage no matter how much ultimate is in one single spot. Tracer, she has 3 dashes. You see the regeneration here. She has the dashes to get up close like this, to damage. She has the recall, takes her back where she was 3 seconds ago. And as you can see, she doesn't do that much damage from long range. So she's more like bam bam, do damage, get out, then get in again, do damage, then get out. You have to know your cooldown management pretty well with her. She's a super fun hero. A bit hard to understand at the beginning, but she's very rewarding and she's being played, I would say, 80% of the time Overwatch was released. Like she's super played in ranked and everywhere. She's a super good hero. Pulse bomb, if attached, it does a lot of damage. If it's close to them, it still does a lot of damage, but it does have a bit of a small radius. A lot of players play a mean Tracer, and she's a super fun DPS to play. As you can see, she just like zaps around, but she might be a little bit hard to understand at the beginning. As you can see, if I throw it here, the radius is not that big, doesn't do a lot of damage, so it has to be close to them. And Widowmaker, left click, you shoot, okay, do damage. Right click, 1 shot, 1 kill on from any distance apart from tanks. From any distance to like squishies. She's super good long range. Venom Mine, if they walk over or like in the proximity of the Venom Mine, they will take damage. You'll see them triggered, and you'll also be able to see it has like an AoE, like Sonic's, like Hanzo's Sonic arrow. You can see them through walls and stuff. So that helps you out. So for example, you're playing from here and you're afraid that you're gonna get flanked from here. Let's say you want to place your trap here, so that if somebody comes from here, you will be able to hear the fact that they got detected. She also has a grappling hook to help you get high ground. If you press space at the grappling hook, press space at the end, you'll travel further. Her ultimate gives wall hack to everybody in her team.
No one can hide from
They can see where the enemies are. Oh, one thing I didn't cover though. This is for every hero. If you crouch in Overwatch, you shouldn't do that much noise. If you walk like this, you do. But if you crouch, you barely make any noise. Depends on the character. Some characters, Zenyatta and Sigma, do not have any footsteps. So they can just like float behind you. Echo has like a small humming noise. So try to listen to the audio as well, because you might be playing from here and maybe you're gonna hear a Roadhog flanking and farting his way to you, because literally he farts when he's walking from time to time. And you can hear his hook. So be careful with his audio as well. And now 1 second, so I get Olaf out of the room and we're gonna move to the coolest role in the game. You see some DPSs that do more damage. You see some DPSs that do a ton of damage. You see some DPSs that have a lot of utility. Some DPSs that seem more like ninja type of playstyle. Some DPSs that seem like Legolas type of playstyle. Depends on what you like to play overall. At the beginning, I wouldn't care about making team comps and stuff. I would care about just playing heroes that appeal to you the most and you think you're gonna have the most fun with. Junkat for a lot of you. Now, let's continue with support, the final category. If tanks are made to make space, go in first, not die, do damage. Damage dealers are meant to get kills, not die, and cry for healing. Supports are made to support their team, primarily through healing the tank and damage dealers, their other support, but also provide utility necessary for, one, their team to pop off and get kills easier by buffing their team or by debuffing the enemy team. Let's start with Ana. First time I played this hero, she's a sniper. If you do unscoped shots, they're like projectiles. If you do them scoped in, they go instant, like Widowmaker shots. She cannot headshot. And now if you shoot your ally, then they will get healed. They get the same amount of healing if you're scoped in as if you're unscoped. You can also learn a technique called quickscoping. You have a lot of guides. My mods in chat will link you the video with how to quickscope to do this, and that guide also shows the benefits of unscoping versus quickscoping and when you should do it and stuff. Also, she has a sleep dart, which does 5 damage. That dude had 5 HP. And if they slept, they stay asleep until woken up or until the sleep dart ends. It's the equivalent of a stun that you can interrupt if you wake them up. So if, for example, I sleep him, sleep lasts until it lasts, or if I do damage to him, he wakes up before the sleep ends. The nade enables your team by, number 1, giving them a buff of healing. They get like healed up a lot. And also, when you see that yellow on your allies, it means that healing received is increased from every sources. So yes, they take more health from health packs. Yes, Hog heals himself way more if he's under your E. But here's what I mean with helping your allies by debuffing the enemies. If you throw it at the enemies, you do damage. And also, they cannot get healed while the nade effect is going on. The nano cannot be used offensively. It is used defensively on your ally. It makes you tankier. It gives you some instant healing HP. Instant healing, I mean. And it also increases your damage for a short duration. And as a super cool hero to play, I totally recommend her. Baptiste. Shoots. Okay. Shoots a lot with his left click. And with his right click, some small projectile healing grenades. He's usually played with heroes that you can stay close to. Because as you can see, consider that everybody's moving, it's kind of hard to aim with it. You see how high up I have to aim? It's really hard to actually aim with it. You heal more if you do direct hits on your allies than if you splash it on the ground. So this heals a lot more than if I do it like this. This does 70, this does 50. This being said, you're gonna see a lot of players shooting the ground, because if you splash the ground, you know for sure it's gonna hit, because if you do it like this, you might miss. And you're gonna heal multiple people at the same time. Obviously, if you use a direct hit on an ally and it splashes, then players from around them will get healed as well, as you can see there, if they're in the radius. Over here, they're not in the radius, so this one, when you would want to like do it like this. His shift, if they get low HP, they get a burst of healing. The burst of healing increases if they're less than half of their health bar. So you see a lot of HP. one of the most hated abilities in the game, which I really recommend using to tilt a lot of enemies, is his immortality field. If deployed, anybody in this area cannot die until the duration is over or until they destroy it. His ultimate, also known as the garage door, increases healing and damage from your allies. It does not increase damage from the enemies. So you absolutely melt them, but you absolutely heal them incredibly fast. So again, only your allies can use it. Baptiste is probably one of the supports that I recommend playing in the beginning if you want to shoot a gun. If you don't want to, I'm gonna show you with Moira. Brig, very annoying. She left clicks kind of like how a mini Reinhardt would. If she shoots, if it connects, you hear a small sound. That aura. Anybody around her when she triggers this aura will get healed. She also has healed over time, not instantly. Wait a second. Ah, Bob Jump, I forgot. Wait 1 second. There are too many abilities. Dan's been tagging me. Baptiste, Ana doesn't have mobility, Baptiste has mobility. With Baptiste, if you press crouch, you see a meter. Okay? The more you press it, up until the max point, the higher you go if you press space. If you press and release, it will go away. So sometimes you want to do a jump like this, but sometimes you want to do a jump like this. I will not make it. You have to time it right, because sometimes in the team fights you don't want to jump all the way on top and get headshotted, but maybe you want to start the fight at the beginning by getting high ground and stuff. Okay, back to Brig. So if this lands, people around you in that radius, it's a huge radius actually, I explained it in my rank to GM with Brig, will get healed. She has to trigger something called Inspire. Okay, if she hits the enemies, then she gets the Inspire activated. That lasts for a couple of seconds. She can do this again by left clicking, by landing this with a mace, with her mace, or by shield bashing somebody. If she doesn't do anything, so like if she just sits here and doesn't hit the enemies, then she's useless. She just has a tiny shield, okay, and she can useless. She's not gonna give that much healing. You actually have to hit the enemies with her. You can also heal by sending packs. You see, it heals them over time, but you have 3 packs, so you gotta be careful with your pack management. Usually Brig gameplay will look like this. Passive is sticking, you throw a pack, bomb, bomb. You want to go and do some damage. You usually sit around your allies and protect them. Also, very important with her whip shot, you boop. You can get boop kills. Let me go and swap the soldier. You can boop them off the map, similar as how you do to a Lucio. You boop them far away. So again, key with her is to get your passive ticking. Okay? So you see how they're getting healed? Because I triggered my Inspire. Again, one more time. Boom. Still going. And additionally, you have the packs. Her ultimate gets you extra HP. It's a new mechanic, the green HP and stuff, which goes away after getting damaged or after some time. It decays. It will go away in the next couple of seconds. I think it's 10 seconds. I might be wrong. Or did they change it and it stays up non-stop? I don't think so. Oh. Wait a minute. It stays up. Dude, there have been so many changes from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. Anyway, this will go away. Oh, never mind. It decays. It started decaying. Okay, it stays up. I think I forgot how to count. That was 10 seconds. So yeah, it stays up. Other than that, she doesn't have mobility. She just has this shield bash that helps you escape. Usually, you will not use it to engage. Like, it's not going to be like, I'm going on an enemy and kill them and stuff. You usually just play Brig like this. Bam, bam, bam. I'm low. I'm in cover. Shoo. Oh, no, I'm low. I'm going back. She's more... Your job with Brig is to not die. Your job as a support is to not die. Because if you die, your allies will not have healing and they will probably not pop off. Kiriko, the newest hero to the game. Does damage. I have a lot of Kiriko guides on my YouTube channel, smiley face. I have a lot on every support for that matter. She does a lot of damage. If you can land the shots. The kunais. The kunai. You can see you have to go for headshots. It does the triple amount of damage than it does with a body shot. So when you play her, instead of aiming like this, try to aim horizontally instead of vertically. Okay, so your cursor needs to be like this. Also use your movement to try and adjust. So be careful to not have your cursor like this. Very important when you spam. If you hold right click, you heal 130 with all of them. With only one, you heal for 26. You can stop at any time. And as you can see, there's a small downtime when it recharges. It recharges at the same rhythm if you use all of them or one of them. Doesn't matter. And in this downtime, you can do multiple actions, such as throwing a knife, reloading even, a melee, a knife and melee, 2 knives, or shifting or using your E. Shifting TPs you through walls. I'm gonna show you. It has a range of 35 meters. Before that, she has a wall climb similar to Genji and Hanzo, but she doesn't have a double jump or a leap. But she can teleport through walls to allies that are alive, not dead. And her Suzu, kind of like how Bob's Immortality Field works, but it lasts for 1 second. It makes you a ghost, as in the bullets will go through you, the projectiles will go through you, and you cannot die, you cannot take any damage for that entire second. It also heals you a little bit, as I showed you. And this, anybody on its path gets reduced cooldowns, increased fire rate, increased reload speed. You see how faster it goes? So it's, and also speed boost. She's gonna be a lot when she's gonna be in comp. She's gonna be a lot, and I can't wait to see how strong she is. Let's continue with Lucio, and then I'm gonna give my opinion on the easiest one and the hardest one from each role. Lucio, staple of Overwatch, can wall guide. It is a bit difficult to wall guide with him, but TLDR, you go to a wall, and if you press space and hold space, you hold jump, then you will stay attached to the wall with the proper settings. So just try to do this. If you detach and press double space, you go like this. I explained how to wall guide in my first episode of Unranked to GM with Lucio, because I know that it's hard to get in the rhythm with him. These are the settings that I'm currently using with him. Allow backwards wall guide and wall jump on release is set to on. This means that, for example, I can wall guide like this. And TLDR, if you press space, you'll stay attached to the wall until the end or until you detach from it. He has an aura, as you can see. Anybody in this aura, when you are on healing, will get healed if they are in your line of sight, as in you can see them. So right now, if I'm around the wall and you can't see them, then it shows you one, only this one. While if I'm here, it shows you 2, 3 that are benefiting from it. Same with speed boost. Same thing, only 1. And speed boost just makes everybody go faster in your team. You shoot with him. You cannot shoot these to heal your allies. And most importantly, with your right click, you boop them off the map, or you just boop them in general. A lot of Pog Lucio moments coming in. Also, let's cover his ultimate. Let me just get it. Okay, his ultimate. You drop the beat. It gets you extra HP that decays over time. You see how it goes? Boom. So when your team is low HP, you want to use your beat, or you want to use it to counter enemy ultimates, or you want to use it as an engage tool in case your allies are too afraid to walk in. Mercy. The signature support of Overwatch, I would say. If you left click, you heal. If you right click, you increase the damage that if your ally hits them, they does. If you press shift, you fly to them. And if at the end of your shift you press space, you will go in the direction that you're facing. So right now, boom, you go there. You shift, you press space, you go there. If at the end of your shift you press crouch, you go up. So again, if you press shift and space, you go there. If you press shift and crouch, you go up. If you press shift and at the end you press S, you go backwards with space. So right now I'm pressing shift, S and space, and I go backwards. She has a pistol that has a fairly weird hitbox. Kind of hard to hit. You'll probably spend most of the time just by playing her like this and escaping enemies trying to shoot you. And her ultimate resurrects an ally that died. Not an ally that is alive, because you can't resurrect somebody that's alive. Let me show you her ultimate. Her E, I mean. Just die. Die. Decease. I forgot. That was Mercy in the first couple of seasons. So they die. You get a guess. You have time until they respawn. The timer goes faster, it goes slower in game. You have a 10-second window if it's not overtime. Over here you have like a 1 or 2 second window. Okay, and her ultimate, you fly. If you press space, it lasts for 15 seconds. If you heal somebody, it creates like a chain healing if they're around. Also chain damage boosting. You also do a lot of damage. Like a lot. This is like when you want to go in DPS Mercy mode, you pull out your pistol and maybe you go and get a kill onto a squishy or not. Mercy gameplay will probably look like this at the beginning if you first start playing Overwatch. Please try and damage boost as much as you can. You do not need to make your allies full HP for them to not die, just enough. So that you just have to heal them enough so they're not gonna die. So right now, for example, if the damage is coming like this, you don't need to actually heal them. You can just stay on damage boost, wait a bit, be relaxed, still damage coming in. Wait a bit, they're not gonna die. Okay, fine, I'm getting scared. I'm healing. I'm healing. I'm healing. You're not gonna die. I'm damage boosting. I'm damage boosting. I'm scared. I'm healing again. So just don't be obsessed with making people full HP at the beginning. This will help you out a lot. Mercy is meant to be very slippery, but as you can probably see, she does not have any... Her carry potential is very limited, so with no matter how much healing you do, how much damage boosting you do, how slippery you are, you might actually have a hard time at winning with her, but that doesn't mean that you're playing a bad Mercy. So be careful. Take this into consideration when you're playing her. And most importantly, if the enemy has a Widowmaker, pop your Valkyrie, go behind, kill the Widowmaker, and go back at them. Oh yeah, and one thing, it increases the range of your shift. As you can see, you can go from really far away to your allies. Forgot to tell you this. Increases the range of the beam a bit as well. Actually, no, it's the same. My bad. Is it? It's not. It's not. No, the effect was just lasting longer. Lingering effect. Okay, and I think we have two more. We have Moira. Any ally in this radius gets healed. Okay, so they're low. You want to like spray the heal. After you stop healing, it heals them for a bit. So if you see them full HP, don't continue healing them, because they will still get healed. You can hear the sound, so you tap and they still get healed even if you're not healing them. If you right click, you have a range, you do damage to them, you suck them, and this charges your healing meter. And here's a quick trick. If you start playing Moira and you want to roll everybody, to recharge your meter faster, you just tap the right click. This doesn't do that much damage, but if you tap it on enemies, you will charge it faster. Very important to know. Healing Orb goes really fast. If attached, it goes slow. So be careful with how you use it, because you want to be like, don't leave me, please. Damage Orb goes fast as well until it attaches to enemies, and it's gonna do some damage to them. But you see that the smaller it becomes, the harder it is to actually attach to them. Usually, your gameplay with Moira and Hug Shift makes you like how Kiriko is, invisible, I guess, like a ghost, and you move faster in it. And also, if at the end you jump, you can go pretty high up. Now, her gameplay, what I recommend doing with her at the beginning is just playing her like this. You start the fight, you see enemies, you throw the damage orb at them, you heal a little bit, you do some damage, you heal a little bit, you do some damage, you heal a little bit, you do more damage. Now you heal them a lot because they're gonna be low HP. Oh no, my resource meter is not that good, so you throw a healing orb because they're taking damage, you do some damage, you heal. It's more of like balancing your resource meter. Her ultimate, if you press Q, people caught in her laser allies get healed, enemies get damaged. That's it. So you want to try and line them up as much as you can. One thing with Moira, although I explained these things in my rank to GM with Moira the first episode, if you before you use your ultimate, if you have your orb available, throw an orb and then press Q. Very easy, because you can do, for example, boom, boom. This way you do damage to them while also healing, and you can see I'm also doing damage to them like this. Don't stand still when you use... Don't stand still in Overwatch. Always move in Overwatch. Zenyatta. No damage fall off. He shoots his balls pretty fast, as you can see. Hard to land on moving targets at long range. And with his left click and with his right click, he shoots a volley. That does a lot of damage. Try to aim at headshot level and at spots before the enemies go in. As a tip with Zenyatta, before the team fight start with the right click, and when the team fight starts, left click in the team fight. So if right now the team fight is going on, left click. Do not charge your right click in the team fight, because you do more damage because of the increased fire rate with your left click. If the fight is over or it's about to begin, then yes, you can do right clicks. But other than that, left click the majority of the time. Your healing orb stays attached to them. To the target that you attached it to, it has no cooldown, but if you break line of sight, it will disappear after 2 seconds, 3 seconds on healing orb from what I see actually. 2 or 3 seconds, doesn't matter that much. But you can juggle the LOS reset, the line of sight reset. So if you have it on somebody and you walk around the wall, and then you walk again, and then you go like this, and then you walk again, it will still stay up. Boom, boom. With his Discord orb, same principle, just that this one doesn't heal the enemies as the Harmony orb healed your allies. This one increases damage done to the enemies. So right now, if you have a Discord orb on somebody, they should die faster. His Transcendence, he moves faster, he heals everybody around him, and very important with Transcendence is that you heal a lot. Thumbs up. Use it mostly as you would use Lucio's Beat. And now for a fast classification of supports and what they do. As you can see, some of them do more healing than others, some of them do more utility than others. If you want to play supports that heal a lot and you don't want to be stressed out in hitting the enemies and stuff, but you're limiting your carry potential, then any support can work as long as you focus on healing primarily. You're not going to win a lot of games by doing that though, because you will feel powerless, because your damage dealers and tanks might not be doing a good job. This being said, Ana heals a lot, Baptiste heals a lot, Mercy, Moira, Kiriko, all of them heal a lot. This being Overwatch 2 though, in a 5 vs 5 scenario, I would say that Brig and Lucio can get a lot of healing done as well. Zenyatta doesn't heal that much though, because he's single target and he doesn't heal that much. If you want to do a lot of damage, Ana, Baptiste, Zenyatta, even Moira might be the picks for you. For easiest and hardest ones to play from each role at the beginning, if you don't have any personal desires into like playing a certain hero, like the kit doesn't help you out a lot, I would recommend starting by playing Roadhog for tank to understand how tanky you are, do damage and get healed. For DPS, I'd recommend starting playing Soldier or even Junkrat, I'm not joking, or Torbjorn. Very easy to play and you can get a lot of value out of them. And for supports, Mercy or Moira might help you out at the beginning to understand how the game works. Some other notes to keep in mind: move a lot in Overwatch, don't stand still to aim. Moving doesn't affect how well how your bullets travel and stuff, so just move a lot. And that's about it. Have fun. Long guide. Hey, I'm Olaf. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe. Meow.